So what I'm trying to say, so whenever we try to change this backup underscore OSS underscore URL, we'll have to log into admin target. Then we have to delete all the backups that is existing right now. And we have to make sure that the encryption is turned on. Make sure encryption is on. And after that, we are going to run this get config command, the same procedure that we have followed earlier. Okay, we will run this get config command, and this will give us the config file. Now in config file, we have to change this backup underscore OSS underscore URL. Now this is what we have to change. So if the username and password is also different, we can go ahead and change them also. Okay, we have to remove this hash and change the password. Now again run the set config command. So the process follows same: get config, do the set config, do configure underscore status. Once the changes are propagated, we will do get config, so we get the file with all the details is present. So this is how we are going to change this backup underscore OSS underscore URL. So that is nothing but from one container to another container we can do. Usually what people used to do is, there is two way. Many people, they create one container, okay, one container, and that one container would hold the backup for all the databases. Okay, so I can say instead of DBCS023, I can say that common underscore container 01. So while creating any database deployment, we can give this common container 01, and we can give the username and password. So all the database backups would go to the same container. It is also possible, the other way it is also possible, that we have our own individual or respective controllers for each and every databases. Okay, so this is quite a simple step, so I'm not going to spend much time on this. Now, customizing the backup configuration, yes. So if you want to change anything, configuration files or anything, we have already seen, backup underscore CFG files is yes. And we know under Oracle home user, we have /home/oracle/backup novacl. Okay, so these are the two files, dbcfg.spec, oscfg.spec. So these are the two locations we can edit. To include any other operating system dependent files would be required on Mac. For example, init.ora. For example, we have any configuration files or XML files, component.xml, target.xml. So anything you feel that would be need to be backed up from the operating system. Maybe the password files, so anything like that. Okay. Now performing recovery by using the console. Now we would go back to the console in order to do that recovery, and we would create a database deployment using a production database backup. Performing recovery by DBaas CLI utility that we have already seen. Now let us create a database deployment using a production database backup. Okay. Let me log into cloud.oracle.com. Okay, I have logged in. Now we will just have a look at the instances that we have. I did created quite a lot of instances. So let me go to database classic. Okay, now we would just go ahead and create one more instance and see how does this works. I'm just going to click on this create instance. Okay, here I'm giving all the instructions, and instead of clicking on next button, I'm just gonna cancel it, and I'm just gonna show you the instance, because it takes about 20 to 30 minutes to create this instance. So let me put it as a back to DB2. I'm giving description as a created from production, or clone of production is what I can choose. Clone from prod. We can say region is either one of the region I can choose. Tags also, let me choose anything is fine. Database type. Single instance. Subnet, let me give anything. Okay, click on next. Database storage, let it be any value. Let me give this thing, choose file. See, VM standard 1.1 is there, and I've been choosing that option only. VM standard 1.1 and in Frankfurt region only. Okay. Sam underscore public key. Okay.
So after this, can you add the public key again to your server 0 to 3 instance?
Yeah, that would at least help you to get through the backups, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good way. So what I will do is I have a couple of instances. Let me get each on one of your public keys added to each one of the instances. So all you can start doing that.
Otherwise, we are we are behind the course that we are going through.
Right. Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem. In fact, let me share my username and password. You all guys can log in, because this also front things also you would need to do, right? It's not just that database only you have to do.
Yes.
So let us make sure like we distribute within four of us, and let us start creating. As long as that $400 is not wiped up, let us consume.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do that. So I'll be sharing on WhatsApp the credentials for both of this. And so what we do is, just to save that money, all you can do is delete all the existing instances, keep only one or two for me. Okay, DBC 0 or 2, 3 or 2, 5 for me. And rest all you can just start with your name. Like for Anji, you start with A, Suresh would start with S, Venu and Prasant can start with V and P. Okay, so that way we can move on.
And I think Venu and other guys, they have account. There should not be any problem for them.
Okay, yeah, they have. So all I have to do is fix the backup issue. We'll do that. Okay, so here is the key. So the reason why I'm here to create an instance is basically create an instance from existing backup. So here we have to click on yes. So I mean, this looks very simple, but yes, the thing we have to understand here is two things. Make sure the usable storage size you provided is large enough to hold the database from the backup. Yes, of course. So this basically says that the source database size, whatever it is, make sure this new database size also you give the same amount. So it's fine. 50 GB is what I have given. Of course, because I'm really not migrating anything. So there is two options. Yeah, so we have here, that is, one is on-premise backup, one is a cloud backup. So first we will see how do we do it for a cloud database backup. Then the second option comes is how do we do it for an on-premise backup. Now understanding this option is a very key over here. Now this is also very easy, and this is also part of one migration, you can say. For example, if your organization allows a downtime and if he wants his database to be migrated to cloud, so there is two ways he can migrate it. So the very first step, he can take a backup of his on-premises database. So from your own data center, you can take a backup of your database and put it into the cloud. Okay, and in cloud you can come back and you can create an instance, and while create the instance, you can say that create the instance from a backup. Now this is where you can choose your on-premises backup and you can proceed further.
This is called lift and shift, right?
Possible, one way of doing it, lift and shift. Okay. Now for EBS there would be a little different step, so that we would see at the end moment, we would see how we do that lift and shift for EBS. The second and most adapted way of migration, whether it is on-prem to Exadata, Exadata to cloud, cloud to on-prem, from anywhere to anywhere, the best and best proven method is you create a standby database. Okay, you create a standby database, and when your production gives you a downtime, you just fail over it, switch over it, that's all, finish. So you do that cut over that time. So to bring into that facility, now Oracle has also started offering, there is something called as a hybrid cloud. So hybrid cloud is nothing but, we discussed earlier, it would be a DR created for your on-premises database. So what you can do is you can have your database running on your premises. You purchase the cloud subscription and build their DB and make it as a standby database. So you can enable log shipping from your on-premises to the standby. And whenever business gives you a downtime, you make that cloud database as a primary. It is possible. So these are the very standard two ways of doing migration. And the other ways of migration, whether to use SQL Developer or not to use, or when to use, so that part plays a very important role, so that we would understand in the migration of the database. So this is what I told you, just the high level steps only I told you. So these are the two adapted ways. So out of which one way we are going to do right now, or today we are going to do. So before we do anything, I have deselected this on-premises backup. Okay. Create an instance from an existing backup. Yes. Let me click on next. Okay. So the instance name provided for instantiate from the backup is invalid. Please provide a value. Okay. Okay. So now here you could see this is the stuff that came up. Initialize data from backup. Okay. These things came up now after I clicked on next. So it is detecting only the databases which has an automatic database backup is being configured. It is detecting only those databases. So I'm choosing DBCS 025, or we have another database called as a backup to DB01. So let me click it on DBCS 025. It is gonna show us. It is gonna show us like what backups we have to use. So we have 24, 25, 26, 28, 29, 30. So we can choose any one of them and click on next. Let me click on next. So DBAS 025 is just another database that I have chosen as a source database. So that is from where my instance will get instantiated. So instantiate from the backup. So it is the DBCS 025. It is using 30th backup, 30th November backup. So it is VM standard 1.1, 7.0 GB RAM. So rest everything same. I'm clicking on the create instance now. So here it is creating the instance, so that is fine. Okay. Now I have created a database called as a backup to DB1 and a similar method, backup to DB01, which is just completed. So this is nothing but the steps like, how do we create a database deployment from a production database backup. Okay, so I can simple way I can just use the same public keys and everything to log into this database. That is pretty okay.
No.
Yeah, I just released the sharing which was paused for my side.
Again, the creation of this instance depends upon the size of the database, is it?
Yes, absolutely. Where did the database disappear now? So we have to allocate that much of space. For example, before we migrate the source database or we bring up the backup here, we must need to check like what is the size of the database before taking the backup. So if the size of the database is 100 or 200 gigs, so yes, that much of amount we have to allocate it while creating the instance. Okay. There is also a similarly another option we have is creating a standby database. Okay, so before we go ahead for the creating a standby database, we would talk about few steps. Okay, those steps is nothing but how do we create a database from an on-premises backup. So I would tell you the steps which we would need to do, and we would see how we can go ahead and proceed with that steps. But for that, we would need a virtual machine. So I'm in process of creating a virtual machine. So most probably we would be able to do that. So let me explain you the steps as how we can achieve that. So let me give something here like on-prem DB. On-prem to cloud region, I can give anything. Let me choose the default ones or anything is fine. Tag is fine with anything. Okay. Okay, these two options are there. Click on next. Choosing the backup destination to none. Give me some Okay, now give the public key, choose file, SAM public key. Okay, initialize data from backup, yes. Now here we are going to say, on-premise backup. I have selected it. Here we would need to give database ID. Here we have decryption method. Okay, so it is nothing but it is looking for the wallet file or the key file that we have present in our Oracle home. So we are not keeping it ready right now. Then we are going to give a cloud storage container. This is where it is going to get uploaded. Okay, we can choose any of the existing cloud container. This is where it is going to be uploaded. But this all things happens before doing all these things. We will have to go through few more steps. What is that? I would write it down on a notepad. Okay, let me tell you. What are the prerequisites before we do that? Give you a moment. We have a utility called as a iBackup. Using iBackup, we have to take the backup of your on-premises. We have a utility called as a iBackup. Let me get the download location.
First of all, how the connectivity will be established from cloud server to on-premises server in order to take the backup?
Huh. So there is two things is like not two, there are actually 4 to 5 prerequisites. One prerequisite has to be like 12.1.0.2. Second is that encryption must be there. Third thing is that you must need to have an internet connection. Okay, that is where the major problem happens with most of the organization. Many people do not want, their enabling or moving the database to expose to internet. That is one thing. But yes, Oracle can provide a tunnel or a connection which is exposed only to your data center. So internet connection, restricted internet connection is possible. So once you have that, you would need your storage container, URL, plus second thing is username. Of course, username of your administrator, or else you can create a user and assign him uh, the storage administrator role, so he can also upload the backup. So username and password. Plus, in order to move the backup here, see, Armin knows how to move it to tape and disk only. He doesn't know how to move it to cloud. So that is where we would need a utility called as iBackup. So I was just about to show you this iBackup utility. Okay, let me get the path of this iBackup. iBackup. We can do wget iBackup from Oracle. So these are few of the prerequisites. Like the on-premises database must host a Linux machine of either OEL 6 or 7. If it is from a different machine, it is not going to work. And the database character set must be compatible with the Exadata Cloud Services database. That is fine. That is usually compatible. Okay, and yes, this is where we would need the URL. So this is what I was looking for. So wget is nothing but we can initiate from the on-premises database server where we have, we want to take the backup. So we can run this wget command from that. So what we will do is on VMware, we'll create a Unix machine, put a database onto that. We will run this wget. So this is going to give us this Oracle Cloud iBackup setup.zip. This is some set of, Python scripts and everything. All you have to do is extract that file, log into this iBackup module. Okay. Now there are few configuration files. One is a backup.cfg file. You would find _iBackup. Now you have to modify these things. You want to set transparent data encryption equals to Y when we're using TD, and if we are not using TD, and if we are using only ARM and backup key encryption using AES 128 or 256 algorithm, then we can say that transparent data encryption equals to no. Only the backup should be encrypted. So ARM and encryption algorithm is sufficient for that. Because the concern here is when the data is moving over the internet or over the protocols, it should not be hacked or misutilized. So that is where they are being supported for that kind of encryption. Third thing, we have to have a OSS user, OSS URL values. Okay.
So Soumya, just a database concept one here. When you do Arman backup, a block level transfer will be happening, right? Copying will be happening. So in that there will be no encryption, is it?
No.
When we do Arman backup?
No, in Arman backup, there is a configure channel, configure Arman encryption using AES 128 algorithm. So there is two keys is available, AES 128 and AES 256. So we can specify that Arman to be backups to be encrypted.
Okay, then both the things are been achieved, right? And through both ways we can achieve the encryption, is it?
Yes.
And Arman as well.
Right. So the encryption can be at the whole database level. That is fine. But when backup happens, there is also another encryption happens. Okay, having encryption only in the database level doesn't ensure that your backup would be encrypted. It doesn't make sure your export would be encrypted. It doesn't make sure your standby would be encrypted. Because the database which is encrypted, by default, it decrypts the data while transferring it. So while transferring it, whether to export, import, dump, or whether it is going to be Arman backup, it is going to decrypt and put it there. So enabling the encryption on the database level doesn't, makes you sure that you are encrypted all the sites. So we have to specify encryption key while doing the export. We have to specify encryption key in the Arman also. Okay, so some people what they do, they don't encrypt the whole database. They encrypt only the export or only the Arman backups, which is actually going out.
Okay, so recommended suggested one is TDES.
Yes, and when we talk about cloud, so anything we do on the on-premises, it is always recommended to put it onto the encryption only. So you put the encryption at all levels, it doesn't matter, because putting the database whole into internet that has brought this encryption has to be mandatory. Because without this thing, nobody would be, dare to put the data at a risk. Okay, so all the cloud things, they are all like, embedded with encryption only.
Okay, but before that, can't we have SSH enabled from cloud database, cloud server to this on-premises server? If the connectivity is there.
See, again, if we talk about this protocol, right? SSH protocol over TCP protocol would work, but there are many limitations with network point of view. Okay. So it is not so easy way that we could do that. Though it is a similar technology they are using when they will open a direct endpoint to your data center. It does a similar way to upload the backups, but it is not SSH.
Okay. Okay.
So the
Okay.
guys who has developed that programs is written in a different way, keeping that protocols in mind.
Okay.
Okay, SSH protocol also, if you look into TCP protocol, you have some OSI models, multiple layers through which packets are transmitted. There is also a layer which does that security. Okay, so such kind of security things are not possible into the SSH mechanism. So that is where this rsync, SSH, TCP, and UDP. So all these does the same thing, but yeah, the packet transfer mechanism is different. So that is why many organizations do not allow you to do direct SSH to VNC, or they do not allow you VNC. They give you SSH via a jump host only, via second and third medium, because they do not consider that SSH to be that much secure. Okay, so there are many reasons to it at the network level. So that's where the direct SSH won't be possible. So that is the reason where Oracle has come up with a small utility, or you can call it as API or application program interface, called as iBackup. So iBackup is again a set of programs that is written using Perl and Python and shell scripts. Using this, what we can do is we can ensure that the encryption is set. We can make sure that the target underscore DB parameter is set to more than 11204. So anything beyond 11204, we cannot, take a backup to the cloud. So this concept applies to the two migrations method that we discussed. Simply lifting and shifting a database by creating a hybrid DR, or by creating a backup, of your on-premises database to cloud. So for both the cases, this, versions and these restrictions or limitations are similar. So 11204, 12102, 12201, and 18C. So these are the supported versions we have to specify. We specify OSS user and URL, and then we specify, transparent data encryption equals to no. If that is the case, then you have to set arman underscore key value to the arman encryption key. Okay. Otherwise, you leave this value blank. The default of AES 128 algorithm will be used in case of arman. Okay. So these are 4 to 5 limitations. Okay, if either of these things we are not satisfying, possibly we will have to lead for upgrade. For example, you have a 11.2 database. Unfortunately, if it is in a lower version, you have to bring it to the higher version, then proceed with it. So before we do that, there are a couple of small comments, like we learned few comments with backup underscore API. There is also some small comments is there that we have to follow. What we can do is /i backup. So it is a simple utility. Okay, /i backup -d database name -b -i. Okay, so we would see that what are the options of this -b and -i on a later time. Okay, so these logs are generated again under where apt oracle iBackup. So this is nothing but the same location where we have all the utilities is present. Where apt oracle, then we have DBaas CLI, we have BKP underscore API. All these softwares are present underscore where apt oracle. So iBackup is also going to be there. We will have iBackup folder. That is where we have these things. Import JSON OSS file.cfg. Okay, transparent data encryption. So this shows the td wallet.zip. So that's nothing but the wallet directory that you have in your existing. So these are the things that present under this iBackup. So once it is done, once the prerequisites are set up, then we can go ahead and upload the backups.
Upload to
No, then we can upload the on-premises backup to the cloud.
Okay. So this iBackup, is it backing up into the cloud container now?
No, it is not doing it now. Yes, but we will use this one to do it to cloud.
So where it is getting stored when we do this, when we issue this command slash iBackup -d db name with options.
So see this -bi, it is going to generate in a locally only. Okay, then we would use another utility, something like DBaas API. Then we can upload it to the cloud.
Okay.
Okay, so the backup would be initially on the local, then it would be uploaded to cloud. We would see this demonstration mostly by tomorrow. Once I'll have this VMware ready and set up with the 12c. I think I have some VM templates. All I have to do is transfer here and import it. Okay, so we'll see this demo. So this iBackup utility we will download and get the demo ready. So meanwhile, what you guys do is take the username and password. For Suresh and Anji, let me ping you the username and password. And after this class, we will set some more time for fixing the Prasant and Venu's issue so that they can continue on their environment.
So before that, Soumya,
Mhm.
the iBackup that we will do right tomorrow.
Right.
Normally, how much time it would take for 1 GB to get it uploaded to the cloud container?
See, that all depends upon the bandwidth that we have. Okay.
So if we have 100 Mbps bandwidth or 1 gig bandwidth, on an average, how much time it would take?
The small databases has usually shown, happening.
Per GB, is it calculated like that? Like the 10 GB is the database.
Yeah, we see. I don't have that figure handy in my mouth, like how much time it will take to.
Okay. Sure.
But
No
yes,
problem.
it would take about less than an hour. It should be able to bring up your backups over to the other side. From the data centers, it is blazing fast. That I have seen. Like up to 100 GBs also, they have been transferred within a couple of hours. Okay. So it is all depends upon the latency. If your region is also like, why I could not say that, if I'm doing it from an American data center to American region, the latency is very less. So even though you have 10 Mbps connection also, it would move very faster.
Yeah.
Now, even if you have a 100 Mbps connection, now if your database is sitting somewhere in Japan and your data center is somewhere in London, then the latency is high here. So even though you have a 100 Mbps, it is going to take a little more time. You got me, right? What matters?
Yeah. Correct.
It's
Got you.
latency and speed both matters.
Yes.
So we will see how much it takes.
Yes. Thanks.
Okay. So this is where we will use the on-premises backup, and we have already seen like how to use the cloud backup. So there is not much challenges onto that. Now, third option is creating a standby database. So this is also a surprising part that second database I given is not creating. Backup to DB02 did not came up here. Okay, fine. Not a problem. There would be a couple of databases that I would think to delete it. delete backups. Let me keep this database. It's a standby one.
Likewise, do we have an option to create the account itself, like how we are deleting the instances and storing?
There is a quick start option is there, but I doubt if that you get it.
Because I'm getting exhausted with user ID, email IDs and phone numbers.
No problem. Trust me, I'll give you a solution today. I'll find it out today. What does that change? Meanwhile, you can try with this account username and password. Okay. On the same front, I will fix it or figure it out with Oracle at least. Why is that change? How does it makes the difference? Or maybe I would see the new, if there is a change to the subscriptions or what you have mentioned. So, I mean, it's
Yes.
okay. It is fine. You can take this user ID and password. You can all try. So that's the reason I'm removing a couple of databases. So it is fine. Just two databases I've deleted. If you wanted to delete to any databases, you can just keep this DBCS 023 or 23 deleted. Keep this 25 and remaining all you can delete and start creating. We will see.
Okay.
I can certainly even create users with admin account also. I can do that. That is also possible. Let me go ahead and do that. If that doesn't works out, then what we will do is
Yes, that would be the correct option, I guess, rather than sharing the password.
right. Suresh, tell me your email ID.
Suresh52.pendyala. I spell it out. SURESH 52.PENDYALA at gmail.com.
Okay, I gave you the cloud administrator, so explicitly you got everything. Okay.
Add admin rules. Add user roles, I guess.
This is the admin rules.
Add user role.
A user role also you would not require because you got the cloud account administrator. No, that should be all do fine. Business admin role. $79. Okay. Let me add another one. Anji. What is your last name, Anji?
B.
B, right?
Yes.
Okay, email ID. B dot Anji.
I ping you in the chat.
Is this correct?
Yeah, join.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just got a disconnection, so I reconnected again.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, so b.ngapstv@gmail.com. That is fine. Let me click on next. Okay. Prasan, tell me your ID also. Email ID. Venu, Prasant, are you there?
Yeah, yes,
Soumya.
Soumya.
PRASHA
Okay.
SHANTH in the email ID. SHANTH.THI@gmail.com.
Meanwhile, Suresh or Anji, if you can log in and check, let me know if you're able to log in or not.
What would be the password?
Check your email if you have got one.
Okay, not yet.
Venu, your username.
Uh, type the email. Vengopal
Hmm.
dot Modigari. MODIGR. Right. Gmail.com.
That's fine.
Still not received the mail.
Mhm. That's the reason I did added my account. Let me see if I'm getting it.
Yeah, I got an email now.
I too got the mail.
Okay.
I think we need to activate an account from here.
Mm-hmm. Click on activate account.
Okay.
It's asking to give a new password now.
Yeah, go ahead, reset it.
Okay. Done. It successfully created now.
Uh-huh.
I can see only OCI integration.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can see the services also. Just go to dashboard again. You know.
Okay. Yeah, my services. I can see the dashboard.
Mhm.
Okay, Soumya, we got it. Like we'll try to create an instance and try to configure the backups and we'll let you know tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah.
Soumya, can we fix that config?
Hmm. Which one? That get config set config, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
From yesterday's class, one is pending. I mean, and
Mhm.
backup and restore.
Restore we did from this thing, right?
Yeah, but yesterday I installed the VMware. From there, we need to restore those full database.
Okay, full database we will move it to cloud, right?
Right, right.
Yeah, so that not yesterday, that is for tomorrow, right?
And so, by using DBaas CLI.
Haha,
It's talk about the VNC, Soumya.
haha, VNC.
Yeah,
Okay,
by
I'll say
giving the arguments latest, right?
latest.
Right.
So
By using that.
right, so that is nothing but it did restore and recover the database,
Huh.
and that you have to use from the VNC session.
I have done that one. So I will ping you this output.
Okay.
So actually I got the errors. So I don't have the backups. That is the reason.
Of course, we haven't taken the backup. No, that's what it is saying. You have not taken any
Yes.
backup using the tool, so you cannot restore it.
First we need to fix the configuration file. Then
Yes, yes. Okay. So Venu or Prasant, either one of you, can you help me with your, do one thing. Don't give your credential, add a user like this. How
sure,
I
sure.
added.
I will add.
Yeah. So both of you add it so that I'll fix it afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
What is the mail ID?
Mail ID is samya.paji@outlook.com.
Soumya.paddy.
@outlook.com.
Samya, yesterday I sent a mail. Have you received that?
No, that's what I was wondering. I could not.
Okay, I'll drop now. We'll connect tomorrow.
It is showing like a message has been blocked.
Just I pinged my email ID in chat box. Okay.
Even if you send any mails, it is going to spam.
Why is it so?
Soumya, I added. You can.
Not sure why.
I added it your user. So you can access.
Okay.